Welcome back to the channel, folks, where today I hope you can join me on a walk in our autumnal woodlands in this season, October 2025, to look at the abundance of colour and fruits which our deciduous British woodlands have to offer at this time of year. So folks, put on your boots, grab your camera and come join me for a stroll in the beech woodland. In today's episode, we will try to explain simply two underlying concepts of our woodland, namely leaf senescence and what a mast year is. Leaf senescence, put simply, is how our leaves change colour, fall and decay on the woodland floor. And the mast year is simply a year when we have a bumper crop of mast, or berries and nuts. So before we embark on our journey out into the deciduous woodland, let's just take a few musical moments to fill our eyes with the vivid colours of autumn that we see in our deciduous woodlands at this time of year. Our greens, yellow, orange, red and purples of the season. So what we're going to attempt to do is to explain the changes that we see in trees in autumn at this time of year. And we'll start off by looking at the green chlorophyll. The green chlorophyll, which everyone is taught at school, is the energy making factory of the tree, and it demands a lot of high energy uptake and upkeep. And what happens in the autumn period is that we get shorter days and less sunshine. So the tree decides that it's not economical to keep its chlorophyll factories going and begins a process of decommissioning the chlorophyll and recycling its nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus back down into the roots so it can grow next year. And in the course of doing so, it produces this yellow pigment known as a carotene or xanthophyll, which incidentally is there all along. It's just we don't happen to notice it until this autumnal changes come about. And there is one final leaf colour, which is the red and purple colour of leaves, which acts as a sunscreen. And the function of the red purple pigment is to act as a sunscreen whilst the tree begins a process of decommissioning its green factories so it can recycle nitrogen and phosphorus back down into the roots. And the whole process is effectively very economical and occurs each year, where it recycles its nutrients. In the case of oaks, which are brown leaves, they sort of iron out that process and they drop as brown leaves pretty much straight away. They don't recycle the chlorophyll as efficiently as other trees. So the oaks tend just to drop the brown leaves, as you can see, onto the ground without recycling the chlorophyll. So let's tie up a few loose ends in the video. The principal driver for leaf fall is in fact day length and not temperature. and as you can see from September onwards, the number of daylight hours rapidly decline towards winter. So whilst temperature may be indirectly relevant, the main driver for leaf fall is in fact the length of day. And the length of day from the autumn equinox, which is in and around the 22nd or 23rd of September, will fall off exponentially as seen in the graph. So let's take a fleeting overview into that important green substance known as chlorophyll, which is located in the upper leaf layer structure in structures called chloroplasts. The role of chlorophyll is to convert carbon dioxide into oxygen and thereby locking carbon into the tree structure. The following slide identifies the different compounds responsible for changes in leaf colour. For example, the anthocyanin, which is made from chlorophyll as it is broken down. Each individual tree very often has their own individual colour signatures, some of which are shown in the slides to follow. Here in the UK, in parks and woodlands, we see the vivid scarlet and reds of maples and sycamore, as well as the light tan of beech and the vivid yellows of birch, poplar and aspen. Chemical changes in the leaves are not the only thing afoot. The particular cells in the leaf stalk also undergo a series of changes close to leaf fall, which allow the leaf to break off from the main stalk in a process known as leaf abscission. By far the most common question asked is, will the leaves provide me with a colourful autumn display this season? And the short answer is there is no guarantee. The leaf displays will very much depend on the prevailing weather conditions at that time, with warm days and cold near to frost nights keeping the sugars in the leaves longer and tending towards more colourful display. In this little clip we can see the distinction between a coniferous evergreen tree which keeps its leaves all year round and a deciduous tree which sheds its leaves. So, on our way around, on our autumnal walk, where we will look at leaf colour, we're also going to look at some of the fruits and berries that we come across in various trees. As you can see, and hear as they fall, I have a handful of acorns in my hand. And we would issue a little warning on acorns because they are toxic to livestock such as horses and sheep and cause a disease of the liver known as chiggers. But just on the way round, we will look at the abundance this year in October 2025 of fruits, berries and other produce of nature, because it is a mast year. And what a mast year is, it's a 1 in 7 year where we get prolific fruits, berries and nuts. And that has a knock-on effect on the ecology of the various woodlands and animals that we see in it, namely small rodents such as voles, shrews and mice, which in turn leads on to a proliferation in the birds such as owls and other creatures in the food chain. So a mast year is a time of plenty, and as you've seen from some of the video shots on the way around, there's a surplus of acorns, hawthorns, rowan berries, blackberries. And we'll also relate that to this year's season, because in early spring, as we've seen from the 50 Flowers in 50 Days series, spring was very, very early as a result of the extremely dry and hot spring. And as we moved through summer, we had a very exceptionally hot summer. Meaning that the plants flowered a great deal earlier, and also some of the fruits and berries also fruited substantially earlier. For example, we picked blackberries in the middle of August, which were fully ripened. So this is a mast year, And as we go around the woodland just to look at the leaf colour and senescence, we're also going to pick up not just the different leaves on trees, but also the different fruits, and as a little overview to the autumn season in October 2025. And of course we are a month or so into the autumn equinox, it being the 12th of October today. So let's take a closer look at what a mast year actually is. We've already pointed out that a mast year is when trees and shrubs produce an unusual abundance of fruits, nuts and seeds, known as mast. So what is mast? Mast is the coordinated effort of promoting seed as a result of specific climate conditions. And we see two forms of mast: hard mast, which is usually acorns and nuts, and soft mast, which is usually berries such as hawthorn, rowanberry, blackberry and other soft fruit. So what was it about the weather conditions of 2025 that led to such a bumper mast year? Well, if you recall from the 50 Flowers in 50 Days series, we had a very long, prolonged dry spring, which promoted insects and pollination. And that was followed by a very hot summer with intermittent rain, all ideal conditions for the setting of seed. So, why do we have a mast year, and what is its rationale? It used to be said in older texts that a mast year was a 1 in 7 year event, but increasingly it seems to occur between 4 and 6 years, largely due to climate change. The logic of these climate events and mast years allows the tree to generate a surplus of seed to satiate predators, leaving a surplus to germinate and replace the particular numbers of that tree species. Initially, all is good as tree numbers increase and the surplus food makes its way through the food chain, increasing small mammals and owl populations. In subsequent years, there can be a knock-on effect as larger mammals prey on the smaller bird species, taking eggs and causing a rapid decline in populations. This effect is known as the predator plague effect. So let's take a look at the fruits and seeds in this autumnal mast year in October 2025 as we traverse our way around the woodland. It would be remiss of me if I didn't point out to dog walkers the risk of acorn poisoning in dogs, and they can cause symptoms such as gastrointestinal upset, liver damage or kidney failure. And indeed, when acorns are consumed in large quantities by livestock such as horses or sheep, they can contribute to a disease known as chiggers. And it is very easy for a dog to get confused with the large nuts which they are fed as part of their foodstuff and these abundant acorns lying on the forest floor. So, in the words of Maggie, our feline forest friend, please deter your dog from chewing on acorns as there may be adverse effects. Well folks, that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed your woodland ramble and can join me on the next episode where we may be looking at individual species of trees. If you have liked or enjoyed this video or found it interesting or educational, please like, share and subscribe so that we can bring you another video in the series. In the meantime, get yourself outdoors and enjoy the colours of autumn.